Hello, everyone. Welcome to Take 5. 5 minutes or so this summer looking at Ecclesiastes and seeing what the words of Solomon have to say to our life, even under the sun, where at times it's rather enigmatic. On Tuesday, we began talking about how do we live wisely under authority. And his first admonition to us was cooperate with authority. Keep the king's law. Inasmuch as it's up to you, live at peace with people. You signed on, do your duty. Keep the king's command. And yet, he's a realist, realizing that at times it's hard, or sometimes it's ethically impossible. So listen to that was verse 2 of chapter 8. Keep the king's command because of the oath you made before God. Now listen to verses 3 and 4, and here's where wisdom comes in. You're going to have to make a decision. There's not a formula for you to follow. Well, here's what he says. Don't be in a hurry to leave his presence, and don't persist in a bad cause, since he'll do whatever he wants. So first of all, don't be in a hurry to leave the king's presence. In other words, don't be in a hurry to resign. You're in a work situation where the authority over you is pushing too hard, or is cutting some corners, or is doing some things that are uncomfortable to you. You live in the government, and there are times where the government does things that you think, I can't do that, or I can't pay taxes on that. First wisdom says, be careful. Don't be in a hurry to run away. Don't be in a hurry to resign. Let's be very frank. In a marriage, there can be really unwise, immoral behavior. First step, don't be in a hurry to cut the cord, to say, I'm done. Okay, don't be in a hurry. On the other hand, here's what he says. Don't persist in a bad cause, since he will do whatever he wants. And then he goes on to talk about the king's word is authoritative and no one can really say to him, what are you doing? Don't persist in a bad cause. In other words, on the one hand, don't be in a hurry to resign. On the other hand, there's a time where don't persist in a bad cause. There's a time where you just got to say, I got to walk away. I'm done. My boss at work, let's say, is being too much of a bully. There's just too much unethical behavior in our office. There's a time where you just say, there's nothing I can do to change the ethical quality of where I'm working. There's nothing I can do to change the direction of the office in which I am, or whatever context of authority you're in. There does come a time where you have to say, because of my conscience, I got to go. I don't know if you're there. And there are other scriptures that will talk into that. Again, specifically, let's say I brought up your marriage. If this is your marriage you're thinking about, bring in a counselor, bring in a pastor, bring in other voices of wisdom. That would be really, really important for you. But to hear Solomon now talk about wisdom, and wisdom says to live under authority, we do two things, and you got to choose. Obey, Romans 13. Submit to the governing authorities, and that's in any authority structure. Obey, and then if it gets uncomfortable, there is a time where you might need to walk away or withdraw. Don't do it hastily, but you've got to weigh that option. Don't persist in a bad cause, since he, the boss, whoever it is going to do whatever they want. Obey, that's wisdom. Walk away, that's wisdom. Weigh the second choice very, very carefully. Don't make that choice in a vacuum. Bring other godly, wise people around you as you have to make that choice. But realize, and this is where wisdom comes in, there's no formula. Live under authority. The general structure, cooperate, obey. There are times where you need to walk away. You need to decide with wisdom, not in a vacuum. I'll see you next Tuesday as we continue hearing what Solomon has to say about wisdom living under the sun. I'll see you then.